Hey guys, welcome to my video channel. I'm Chow. Previously, I've talked about the luminosity masking and how to use it to recover an overexposed sky. This time, I'm going to talk about luminosity masking again, but it's going to be slightly more complicated. Instead of using two photos to do the exposure recovery, which like what I did on the previous video, this time I'm going to use three photos to do the exposure recovery. Also, I'm going to share with you a better way in fine-tuning your luminosity mask and how to use the luminosity masks to apply all the necessary adjustments to your photo to make it more pop. In case you haven't watched my previous video that talked about the luminosity masking, I would strongly recommend you to check it out first. You first need to understand the basics of luminosity masks, then only you will have a better idea on why I apply all those adjustments on this video. So, I'm going to put the link in the below description of this video, check it out. Without wasting any more time, let's start with a series of photos that I took using bracketing method. So here are all the bracketed shots, total 5 photos with different exposures. When we have bracketed shots like this, usually we call the photo in the middle as 0 exposures. Then start from left, we have -2 exposure, -1, 0 again, +1 and also +2 exposure. In case you may be interested, here's the camera setting that I used. I was using ISO 200 f8.0. The only differences for these photos is shutter speed. And just to let you have a better understanding of how this photo look like, so start with the first one. So this is -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. So as you can see, the photo is getting brighter and brighter. Now we are going to use the 0 exposure photo as the base photo and then use the -2 photo to recover the sky. And then another photo which is the +2 exposure photo for the foreground. You may ask, why can't we use only 2 photos? Using only +2 exposure photo for the foreground and the -2 exposure photo for the sky. Well, instead of explaining to you, I think it's better for me to show you directly using Photoshop. Now I have my Photoshop open. And you can see that I have this dark layer and bright layer. Dark is the -2 exposure and the bright layer is the +2 exposure photo. So I'm going to use these 2 photos to do the exposure recovery for the sky. For the demonstration, I'm going to use my Chow LM action pack to create all the necessary luminosity masks. If you don't have this action pack and you wish to get it, you can check out the download link that I included in the description of this video. So now I'm going to run LM Lights All to create all the lights masks for this photo. So go to the channel and we're going to browse through one by one to find which one is the most suitable mask to do the exposure recovery. So let's start with light 1, too much. So narrow down, light 2, I think light 3 look good. So let's give a try on using light 3. So I'm going to use light 3 and I'm going to just reorder the sequence here. I'm going to move the dark layer to the top. And I'm going to click on this layer mask to apply the selection to the mask. So as you can see that I've recovered the sky. Obviously, the blending result is not good. So let's zoom in, you can see that, I think without zooming, you can see that there are those halo around the edges here. And same for the top here. Why? Why do we have this halo here? Okay, so let's remove the mask. Delete, and let's compare these 2 photos. Zoom in. So as you can see that, notice this highlight area here, the branches here. So on this photo here, all the branches is missing on the photo. So that's the reason that you won't be able to blend in perfectly if you're using only 2 photos here. And that's also the reason why we need to use 3 photos instead of 2 photos. The third photo, which is the middle photo, we're going to use this as a transition photo that for you to blend in both underexposed and also overexposed photo together seamlessly. Now, let's give a try again using 3 photos to do the exposure recovery. So again, we have the bright layer for the +2 exposure, dark layer for the -2 exposure, and the middle layer is for the 0 exposure, which is the base layer. So I'm going to create all the light masks. And same as what I did previously, I'm going to browse through them one by one. So Again, light tree look perfect, so I'm going to use light tree, and I'm going to choose this dark layer. Let's disable the bright layer and create the mask. So you can see that the result look good. Let's zoom in on the branches again. See? Able to blend in seamlessly. So let's zoom out, and we already recovered the overexposed sky. Now we're going to recover the shadow for the foreground. So I'm going to create a dark mask. Now I'm going to delete all these masks by running this action here, and just click on Darks All to create all the dark masks. Again, let's go through them one by one. So this one is the too white selection. I don't want it. I want it to be more specific to the foreground here. So dark 3, dark 4, dark 5. I think dark 3 is better than dark 4, but however, dark 3 also selected some of the unwanted area like the reflection here and also the sky here. So I'm going to do some fine tuning later. So let's choose the dark 3 and also click enable this layer and also click on the layer mask to create the layer mask. Now you can see that I'm able to recover the foreground. But again, notice that the branches here is not perfect, so we're going to do a little bit fine tuning. Instead of doing the fine tuning by modifying the layer mask here, I'm going to use a slightly different approach this time. So I'm going to create a group and put this layer in the group. Now click on the group, add a layer mask to it. So whatever masking that apply to this layer mask, you're going to further restrict the layer under this group. So I'm going to use a black brush and maybe start with like 35%. So adjust the brush size and just remove some of this area. So let's do some fine tuning here and there. So you can see that everything looks much better now. So same for here, here, and also here. So other than the branches, I also want to remove the effect on the reflection here. So I'm going to adjust brush size again. Let's choose 35% again. So I'm going to brush this area to remove some of the. One more time. This helps to recover some contrast back to the photo and also here. So if you think the effect is too much, you can lower down the opacity too. Okay, let's see before, after. Simple as it is, we are able to recover both the sky and the foreground. So I'm going to delete all these masks here. Just run this one to delete all of them. So now it's time to make other adjustments to the photo. So I'm going to start with adding another layer of curve adjustment. Let's move it out from the group. I'm going to add a little bit contrast back to the photo. And then I'm going to add vignette to the photo. Use the selection tool to draw a circle around the temple and pressing Ctrl-Shift-I or Command-Shift-I on Mac to invert the selection. Now I'm going to create another curve adjustment here, and I'm going to darken the surrounding of the temple. As you can see that we have very ugly edges here, so I'm going to add feather to maybe 200, which looks much better. Now I'm going to add another vignette to the photo. I'm going to use the curve adjustment again. So create a curve adjustment and darken the photo. Next, I want to fill the layer mask with black color. So make sure the foreground color is black. And by holding down the alternate or maybe option button on Mac and plus delete to fill the layer mask with the black color. Now, using back the brush tool again, white color, and opacity start with around like 25%. I'm going to brush on the edges here. So same for the bottom here. Let's do a little fine tune on the curve. Okay, look much better now. Now I want to give a little bit boost to the yellow color here. So I'm going to go to channel again, and this time I'm going to use Luminosity Mask again. So create all the light masks. So I'm going to choose a mask that able to select only this area. So light tool look good, so I'm going to use the light tool, and I'm going to create color balance layer. So now just further increase the yellow color. So before, after. This also helps to create a color separation between the highlight here and the rest of the photo. So if you want to further brighten up the temple here, you can also use the Luminosity Mask again. Delete them all. Create a dark mask. So I'm going to use the dark tree, curve, and let's give a little bit boost to the contrast as well. Again, put this layer under a group and add another layer mask using the black color brush, 100%. So I think I consider that's done for now. So let's see the before and after. So before, after, before, after. So that's a huge change, right? So that's some of the examples in using luminosity masking to recover the sky and so giving a boost to your photo to make it more pop. I hope this will give you a better understanding on how to use the luminosity masking. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoy it. If you think this video is helpful to you, feel free to share it out, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my video channel. So see you next time.